Hi, this is Mickey Earbuds. I'm David, and I'm here with my friend Justin, and we'd like to welcome you to the parks with us today as we continue our series on focusing on the lands. Justin, are you been liking this series so far?
Oh yes, I'm definitely liking the land and focus. It's so much fun.
It's actually been really neat to study the histories, to just look at the parks and the sub-regions in the parks. And doing Magic Kingdom like we've been doing for the last couple has been a lot of fun to really just kind of deep dive into it. Which one are
Yeah.
you looking forward to, and which one have you enjoyed?
I'm looking forward to African subsection of Animal Kingdom when we get around that far. I've really enjoyed our look at Tomorrowland.
Yeah, I do plan on taking us all the way around the world. That'll be neat. Too bad we're not going to be able to talk about Avengers Campus on this coast anyway.
Yeah, I know.
But
Trademarks, man.
I know. I was hoping that maybe Universal would rip out the whole Marvel section and replace it with Nintendo Land, but now that they're building the third park, I think that's actually where they're putting it. So, oh well,
Yeah.
not this time.
Yep.
But let's move into our first segment.
All right.
Please stand clear of the doors. Por favor, manténganse alejado de las puertas.
Okay,
Wh-
Justin. So, which segment haven't we done in a little while?
Where in the world?
Yeah, where in the world? So today, where in the world for everybody who doesn't know what that looks like is or what it is. It's essentially 20 questions where one of us, in this case Justin, has to figure out the thing, the place, the food, the object, the person that I have in my mind, and he has 20 questions to get it narrowed down. So I have for today thought about where in the world that's relevant to our conversation. That's your hint, Justin. So
Oh,
it's relevant to today's topic. So when you're ready,
all
go.
right. Okay. Are we in a theme park?
Yes.
Are we in a kingdom park?
Yes.
Are we in the Magic Kingdom?
Yes.
Are we on Main Street?
Yes.
All right. Okay, now it
I
gets
could have
tricky.
saved you 4 questions if you just said if you heard me say it's relevant to today's conversation.
I know that, but there are a lot of things that are relevant to Main Street that aren't necessarily on Main Street. So I just figured, I mean, like the Grand Floridian is relevant to Main Street, for instance. So,
Yes, that is. Yes, you're right.
so yeah, you never can be too careful. All right. So is this in a store?
Um, I'm gonna say no.
No. Okay. Uh, hmm. Is it outside?
Yes, that lowers it to a whole lot of things for you.
All right. Is if you were to divide Main Street in half, uh, in terms of its like lengthwise in half, so or is it lengthwise or widthwise, whichever. Is this would this considered to be closer to Main Street Station than the castle?
Uh, Let me give you an out here. There are multiple of these.
Oh,
I will not
okay.
count that against you.
All right. Well, I'll just yeah count that as a question asked, but yeah, all right, there are multiple. Wow. Okay.
And it's not Dapper Dan's.
Okay. Well, all right. I can hear the genie saying no more freebies. Okay. Um, so would these be on both sides of Main Street, USA?
Yeah, so they would be.
All right. Um, are they affixed to the ground?
Yes, in a sense.
Okay.
That's
Are
one of
they?
those really, mean answers, isn't it?
Yeah. Are they the windows with prominent Disney people's names on them?
No, that's a good guess, but no.
Okay.
Like H.G. Wells.
Yeah. Yeah. Um, multiple of them. Man, only on question 10, you got me stumped. Okay. Are these? How do I put this? Are they objects as opposed to like people?
Yes.
Okay. Uh, huh. Do they light up?
No.
Hmm. Man,
Really
you're
racking
good.
your brain here, huh?
Yeah, you're good. You're good. You're showing me how little I know Main Street right now.
You gotta, in your mind, you have to really think about everything that you'd pass by and you wouldn't even think about it.
Okay. Are they the American flags atop the multiple buildings?
That's a great guess, but there's only one real American flag in Magic Kingdom.
I'm
And
aware of that, but
we'll talk about that in a little bit. And the answer is no.
okay. Oh man.
This one, I picked a doozy here, didn't I?
Yeah, you did. Yeah, you
You're
did.
really racking your brain, and it's just coming up empty.
Yeah. I mean, I'm starting to think of like really insignificant things like awnings and stuff like that.
Notice how I
Do
didn't
they
say that it isn't an awning
do
or
they change
insignificant.
do they change with the seasons at all?
Do they change with the seasons? Potentially, what's done to them change, but these things don't change. They're there all the time.
Okay.
I really got him. My wife is smirked at that.
That's okay. That's okay. Wait, just wait until our final segment. Like you'll get your comeuppance.
Oh, it's gonna be like, tell me about this movie from the 1970s. But we're getting ahead of ourselves.
Are they the partner statues? The one in the front and the one in the back with Roy and Walt?
No, that's a good guess. I'm wondering if we're gonna be entering kicking yourself territory here in a second.
Oh man, don't tell me that.
Now I'm singing Dapper Dan songs in my head.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
You have 5 questions.
Are they bigger than a basketball?
Uh, I'm gonna say they're about the same size, and maybe marginally bigger or marginally smaller, because I haven't been there to measure them.
Oh
And by marginally, I
man.
mean within inches.
Yeah, I gotcha. I
Hmm.
figured. I figured
Or
that's what you.
centimeters for our metric friends.
Okay. Oh man. I got 4 left, right?
Yes.
Oh man. Are they the trolley rails?
That's a great guess, but it's wrong.
Uh, You're killing me, Smalls.
I'll give you another hint. This is, if you were to receive something from this.
Wait. Are they
Okay.
Mickey balloons?
No.
Okay. All right, as you were saying, if you were to receive something from this,
It would be marked with Walt Disney World on it.
are they the post office boxes?
Yes, there you go. You finally got it.
Well, yeah, with a major hint, but for crying out loud.
Yep. So one of the things is there are several post office boxes throughout the entirety of the Walt Disney World Resort, and there are many on Main Street, USA. And so you can actually put, and Justin, you'd probably know this, you can actually put your real mail in those post boxes. Disney picks it up and they ship it to your address.
Yep.
So people will send their family members postcards from Main Street, USA, earmarked Walt Disney World with the, I forget the area code right now, on the letter or postcard to your family. And people do that all the time. And some people will send themselves postcards from Walt Disney World.
Okay.
Yeah, so you see them, they're literally painted the same color as the street signs that they're on,
yeah.
So
or the lamp posts or something like that.
And so you walk by them all the time.
Yep.
Yeah, that was a tough one, huh?
Yeah, yep. Yeah.
I was thinking is you got to start just like spitballing things like the fire hydrant.
I know. I was starting to really think. I was like, are they the trash cans? Are they the,
I wanted it to be a little more exciting than the trash cans are these days. But yes, so the letters, and it's actually a big thing that people do this. I was doing my research for this, and I ran into several blogs about sending mail from Disney. So.
Okay.
Some of it was just like, hey, if you need to receive a package, you need to do X, Y, Z. Other words, was like, oh yeah, use the post box. There are even some very cleverly decorated and Imagineered ones in Animal Kingdom, which I didn't even know were there. So they fit the different regions and so on. So there you go. It is indeed the post. So our main segment today is discussing the Land and Focus Main Street USA.
At Disney's Magic Kingdom theme park at Walt Disney World Resort.
Wow, that's official.
Yeah, well, you got to specify these things because there's another Main Street USA way out there in Disneyland. So.
And in Paris.
Yeah.
And in Tokyo. And Hong Kong.
And Shanghai.
And Shanghai. Every single one of them has a copy of this. Now, I can't say that the other ones are worse, but I can say it. So, because Walt Disney World is the best of all the resorts.
Hey, all I'm saying, there is nothing quite compares to that view of when you emerge from underneath the train station and see Cinderella Castle towering at 189 feet at the end of Main Street. It's a spectacular view.
Yeah, it's really something. When I was doing my research on this, there were so many things that I didn't even think about because you just see it all the time.
Yep.
How, for instance, the sidewalks are intentionally red versus the gray of the road, so you don't trip.
Yeah.
It is gradually sloped in order to do forced perspective to make everything look so tall.
Yeah.
And that's even works on adults, but it's, I think, more framed to work on children just to make it seem even bigger than it really is.
Yeah, I think it's something like if you were about the height of the average 10-year-old, I think that's where the forced perspective really is the best.
And it's a sight like no other. And it could be shoulder to shoulder in the park that day, and it's still seeing the buildings, which are painted to be so bright, finished off with Cinderella's castle. Cinderella's castle. It's just amazing.
Yeah,
it is the beginning of the story that you're in, and it actually feels like that.
Yeah. Well, it's actually supposed to be modeled after a town during like ragtime. So like think early 20th century kind of a thing. I think it's modeled after Walt Disney's hometown of Marceline, Missouri, I
Yes,
think.
that's right. And the one in Magic Kingdom is also after the Imagineer who designed it. What's the city in Colorado? So it has little influences of his hometown in Missouri and some Colorado influences. But the architecture of the buildings is surprisingly a good mix of Americana. It's not just all Midwestern.
Right.
So it's very ornate, very early 20th century, and it's actually the first spoke of the hub design that you eventually walk up to. So I don't
Yeah.
know if you were doing this intentionally or not, but when you're saying if you were to cut it in half, when on my mind when I think of Main Street USA, I actually think of it in thirds.
Okay.
So you have the train station section with the um the town hall, the exhibition center. Then you have the shopping emporium, which ends with Casey's Corner on one side, the confectionery on the other, and then the last third is the hub, which is of course ends with Cinderella Castle and spokes out towards Tomorrowland and Adventureland, and then behind it to New Fantasyland
And Liberty Square.
and Liberty Square. That's right. So I see it as in three separate sections. Do you follow that?
Yeah, yeah. So if you're following at home, folks, the only place you cannot get to directly from the hub in Magic Kingdom is Frontierland.
Yeah. But it's like a little hop, skip, and a jump off of Liberty Square.
Yeah.
And were you the one telling me that the little river separating the two was called the Mississippi there? Liberty
Yeah,
Square?
there's the tiny little stream that you cross without almost realizing it is between Liberty Square it's between Liberty Square and Frontierland, and they call it the Little Mississippi.
There you go. All right, so Justin, tell me your life experiences. Let's start with that. Like, what do you remember the most about Main Street USA? Like, from your weest memories?
Well, I already kind of mentioned one, and that's just coming out from underneath the Main Street Station. And because you have the two tunnels on Main Street Station, you can go through to one side or the other. There's no direct through route. So when you come out from under the station, you kind of have to make a turn before you can actually look down Main Street. And there's the castle at the end of Main Street, and you see all the beautiful architecture leading up to it. And as you mentioned, the forced perspective. And it's at that moment that for me on just about any given Disney trip, that's when it hits me about where I am and brings back like all the memories start flooding back to me in that moment. And truth be told, it's having taken Keys to the Kingdom tour at Walt Disney World. It's actually intentional. It's intentional that they designed it that way because they see it as you're walking through that tunnel in Main Street Station, whichever tunnel. It's like a peeling back of the curtain as you enter the show that is Walt Disney World, and that's what they had in mind in that whole thing. So it's like you go through this tunnel, and there's all of a sudden you're transported to the early 20th century. And then when you turn a corner, you're like, wait a minute, this isn't just any main street. This is a main street that leads to a fantasy land. It's incredible.
It really is. Sometimes like that when you can go all the time, sometimes magic doesn't feel like it's there. But
Yeah.
Magic Kingdom does elicit different kind of feelings when you're able to go, especially after it's been a while. And as things are, to date this a little bit, returning to normal, it's something that's gonna be just such a relief, you know?
Yeah.
And I know what you're saying, when you come on vacation, I'm sure it actually feels like it started.
Yeah. The other thing I think about in Main Street too is just when you're walking up and down it, either you're on your way in or you're on your way out. Much of the time, there's a little extra something to catch your eye. It could be the Dapper Dans, it could be the trolley show or the Main Street Vehicles or a parade, or I think they had the Main Street Philharmonic, so kind of like a marching band or something like that as well. So there's usually like little shows, for lack of a better way of describing it, you can see sometimes when you're walking up and down Main Street.
Yeah, have you ever interacted with the what is it, the characters on Main Street?
So like the Dapper Dans, for instance?
The Dapper Dans, I think there's the mayor and
Oh,
so
yeah.
on.
Yeah, the mayor's there. I haven't really spent a whole lot of time interacting with them, but I have stopped to see the show. Dapper Dans are my favorite show, by the way. I think they do a great harmony and a cappella, but also they usually have a couple of nifty little jokes that they make too.
Yeah, they're really funny, and they both do a good job in the Christmas season, of course, as well, and also fantastic covering of classic American songs and Disney hits during the regular part of the year as well.
Yeah.
I think what have I heard them sing? I mean, I've heard them sing Christmas songs, and they're just utterly fantastic. But they do the barbershop quartet.
Yeah.
I love it when they bring out the pipes that they play with, or the it's like the handbells.
Yeah.
They're not quite a handbell. I don't know what they're called exactly.
Yeah. I know what you're talking about, but I don't know what they're called either. It's like a chime or something like that.
Yeah, that's right. Have you ever run into the pianist at Casey's Corner?
Absolutely. Yeah.
He can make that thing sing.
Yep.
Yeah, and I think I know what you're talking about. The Citizens of Main Street USA, where they'll do like it's not like the Move It, Shake It street parade. It's just where they come out and they'll sing like, Dancing in the Rain or stuff like that.
Singing in the Rain.
Yeah, Singing in the Rain. You're correct. Or what's that stuff from? I always think it's a song in Wall-E that starts in the beginning. It's a brand new world out there.
Oh, yeah. That was from the movie Hello, Dolly, if I'm not
mistaken.
mistaken.
That's right.
Yeah.
I've heard them do that one. Though, like I said, in my mind, it's always Wall-E with the iPod. The iPod video as he plays it in his little home in the back of the construction truck. I've heard them sing that one. It's astounding.
I've heard them sing "If You're Happy and You Know It."
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah, but it's got a little twist. If you're happy and you know it, clap your hands. If you're happy and you know it, flick your nose. If you're happy and you know it, and you really want to show it, if you're happy and you know it, give us $1.
Nice. And somebody would.
What's funny is their little comments, because they get to it's like they clap your hands. It's like, yeah, they look pretty happy. Flick your nose. It's like, yeah, they're really happy. And then they give us $1. It's like they're not happy anymore.
And those guys can sing. They really can sing.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, so your memory is just your nostalgia that's mixed up. My really first experience was like I went when I was little, but I was technically coming down with the case of the chicken pox. That's a story for another time. So I don't remember any of it. Yeah. So for me, I really count my first time on my honeymoon, and I remember walking in and just being blown away on how big it was, how bright it was, and of course, my other memory is what Main Street USA looks like at night.
Wow, yeah.
Which that's a whole podcast in itself, talking about Disney in the evening.
Uh-huh.
It is one of the, in my mind, one of the most iconic things in the world that I've experienced, and I've not experienced a lot of the world. I've only experienced a handful of places across this country and a couple others. Yeah. That it is so amazing to see at night, in the evening, when it's totally lit up. It's astounding.
Yeah, and I can let y'all in on a little secret is that if you're able to do it, so there's nothing really pressing you to leave the park early or leave it even at closing. If you're able to, grab an ice cream or something from the ice cream parlor or something close to closing and just kind of find a place to sit down and relax and enjoy, and then when the park closes, just pass the time for a little bit and then mosey on out shortly after the bulk of the crowds have clearly passed you by. It's a great atmosphere because the lights are still on and the music is still playing and there's not that many people on Main Street, and it's just it's a beautiful sight and atmosphere to enjoy on your way out.
Yeah. The one thing that they have is that the Magic Kingdom is closing at 8.
Yeah.
Main Street USA stays open well past 8. And so while the rides won't function, the stores will be closed, you technically can stay there and no one will, at least not for a long time, come in and say, hey, you got to get out of here.
Yeah.
So one of the things you could do is if you're willing to be a little lonely and not go with the crowd for a little bit, you can actually get those empty Walt Disney Magic Kingdom shots where you get the castle all lit up and just the beautiful shots of Main Street at night. But you just need to hang out. And you're right, you just get yourself a Mickey treat and hang out for a second.
Yep.
It's something. It's really something to see. Now, let's talk about a few things that you and I definitely know, but maybe that the listeners don't know. So you had alluded to the flags. You want to expand on that?
Oh, okay. So, yeah, on Main Street, you have the American flag that's right there at the center in front of Main Street Station. And that, despite what your eyes may be telling you, is the only legitimate American flag on Main Street USA. The ones that are flying over the buildings, I think they have like an extra stripe or something like that. They don't have the right number of stripes. So they are not legitimate American flags, past or present. And the reason they do that is because according to code for the US flag, it has to be brought down at nightfall or at sunset. It needs to be brought down and then raised up again in the morning. And they certainly do that. Actually, they make a show out of the flag retreat in the evening on Main Street. But the ones over the buildings, they didn't want to be bothered with having to take them down and put them up and take them down and put them up. So they're not real American flags. They just look like it so that they don't have to take them down and put them up every single day.
Yeah, they just play one on TV.
Exactly.
Yeah, they I think the flag code says it has to be lit up a certain way all night if you're going to leave it up all night.
And made of all-weather material as well.
Yeah. So people are going to think we're nerds or something if we know stuff about flag code.
Yeah. But occasionally they do bring down the true American flag in the center there. They bring that one down, and sometimes they'll present it to a veteran or somebody or a Gold Star family or something like that. So sometimes somebody walks away with a American flag that flew at the Magic Kingdom.
That's really neat when you really think about that.
Yeah.
I've seen the flag raising ceremony. I don't know if I've caught the lowering one. But
usually happens around 5 p.m. every day, or at least in the off season when it gets darker sooner. I think it happens around 5 p.m. It might happen a little later in the summer. I'm not sure.
Yeah, that makes sense to me. But and also we'll have to do when we do the holiday episodes, because it's not going to be one. We'll have to talk about how they change Main Street USA over for Christmas.
Yeah.
Where the flag is where the Christmas tree goes, and it is humongous, absolutely gorgeous. But that's we could keep going. So let me ask you: have you ever gotten a haircut on Main Street?
I have not gotten a haircut on Main Street, and really at my age, with the amount of with the crop of hair I have or lack thereof, it's not worth my time. but yeah, I had considered that in the past, and yeah, maybe one day, maybe one day we'll set up an appointment for one of my kids or something.
Get a haircut at Main Street.
Yeah.
That's a pretty cool memory. More for mom and dad, of course.
Yeah.
But the Real Working Barber, I've walked by it like a dozen times, and I've never thought about getting it done.
Yeah.
But I know it's also not too unaffordable either.
No, it's not insanely. I mean, it's we'll say it's Disney priced. It's not. You're probably going to pay. I'm just spitballing here. You're probably going to pay double what you're used to paying at home, but yeah, it's not outrageous.
So I'm trying to think of the other things that are kind of unique as far as just things that you wouldn't catch if you weren't paying attention. Again, you can get your hair cut. There, you can mail stuff, as we talked about earlier. There are the flags that are imitation flags. There is the narrow gauge track in the middle of Main Street where you can see the horse-drawn carriage.
Yep.
And then of course they have the various parades. Right now they have the Move It, Shake It parade.
Yeah.
I guess it's technically a cavalcade.
Yeah. Yeah.
At the moment, but
yeah, and yeah, typically or normally they would also have the famed 3 o'clock parade.
So let me ask you this: what attractions are technically in Main Street, USA?
None.
You wouldn't consider the railroad an attraction?
Well, I guess one could consider that an attraction, yeah. But other than that, it's pretty much that and character greetings.
Yeah, that's about it. Now, remember from one of our past segments, you said the first thing you see is, the obvious Mickey to the right. Not the castle, as you see the obvious Mickey right on your right as you walk in. Because that's where you do meet. That's one of the places you can meet Mickey Mouse.
Yeah, is in the theater there.
Yeah. And if you are doing the opposite and not looking in the most obvious position during the holidays, and you look to your left towards the town hall, that's actually where you can meet Santa Claus.
Okay.
But yeah, so you have the railroad and the character meet and greets are the attractions in this section. Do you normally get on the railroad at Main Street, or do you do it like on the other sections?
It depends. Usually I will get on it in Main Street and just do a full circuit. I actually make a ride out of the train. I'm not usually using it to get from point A to point B. Some people do use it for that, but no, I actually just enjoy the ride. So I usually, at the end of part of a day, usually like if I'm taking like a afternoon break or something like that and going back to my room or the pool or something like that, on my way out, I'll go up to Main Street Station, get on the railroad, take the full circuit, get off, and then go back.
Yeah, it's nice, and the story's fine. I once got yelled at, not really yelled at, I was told to put my foot into I was once told by the cast members I had my foot out of the car, and they said, hey, you need to put your foot in, otherwise we're not going to start the train. So it's like, oh, I put my foot in, the train left.
Yeah.
So they take safety very seriously. Yeah. I don't believe at the moment, because of the Tron construction, that the railroad is running.
No, as a matter of fact, there's the fans of Walt Disney World in general are starting to say, we don't really care about this Tron thing. Just get the train going again. There's a lot of people, including myself, that really miss it.
Justin's kind of a train guy. He did the train tour.
Yeah. Yeah, and I'll say I've done 2 tours at the Magic Kingdom. I did the Magic Behind Our Steam Trains and the Keys to the Kingdom tour. It's very hard for me to recommend one over the other.
Really?
Yeah, and the Keys to the Kingdom tour, mind you, takes you down into the Utilidor that unless you're on a special tour or you work there, nobody gets to see it. And honestly, the Steam Trains tour, it still takes you into some backstage areas and such, but it's fascinating. And if anybody likes learning more about Walt Disney, like the man Walt Disney, the Magic Behind the Steam Trains tour, you're going to learn a lot about Walt Disney in that tour, which is really, really cool.
Wow.
And
maybe that'll be my birthday wish this year.
And since it kind of segues into this, another little fun fact about Main Street is that there are certain things on Main Street that are not imitation. They are the real deal. One of those things is the steam locomotives for the steam trains are real steam locomotives from the turn of the century.
Yeah.
They were repurposed and repainted and refurbished, but these are not imitation steam locomotives or something like that. Like the ones at Disneyland were built for Disneyland. These ones were built to haul sugarcane. So, originally, so they repurposed them. They found them, shipped them to Disney World, and repurposed them for use at the Magic Kingdom. So they have been around for many, many years. They're like 100-year-old steam engines.
Yeah, that's one of the most fascinating things. And when you go on it, you can see both them and the monorails, correct? That tour?
Yeah, you can see because they share the same, for lack of a better way of describing it, they share the same roundhouse.
Yeah.
Although the guys on the train say that the monorail guys like to say, well, we run trains too. It's like, you're not running a train, you're running a bus on a beam. But the interesting thing about that, because they are not replicas, anytime a part breaks, they have to either special order a new one or fashion a new one in their machine shop.
So what we're saying here is the vernacular train at Hogwarts ain't real train.
No. And the other thing that's genuine on Main Street that I'm aware of is the lampposts. They are, again, from turn of the century. They were repurposed and shipped to Disney World and placed there. Those lampposts, all of them came from one of two cities. Do you know what two cities they came from?
One was St. Louis, and I don't remember the other.
You would be wrong.
Maybe I'm thinking Disneyland then.
Yeah. These ones came from Baltimore and Philadelphia.
Oh. Yeah,
Yeah.
see, I'm looking at the info right now. They bought the ones at Disneyland for change per pound.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, that's amazing. So a little bit of a connection to home for you.
Yeah, definitely.
The stuff that they do is just the thought process they make, intentionality is just second to none.
Yeah.
Like, we need to be so authentic. We're gonna get a real train. We're gonna get the real lamps. It's just astounding.
Well, not only that, but in a sense, it kind of saves you money too.
Well, I suppose so. You don't have to build a steam engine from scratch or an imitation one.
Yeah.
That'll have to be my birthday wish. I want to go on the steam train tour.
You won't regret it.
Oh, I know that I won't regret it. So here's the next thing. The audience needs to know. What is your favorite restaurant on Main Street?
Sit down or walk up?
Why not one of both?
Okay. All right. I could do that. Sit down. And I gotta say, this is personally, I rave about other restaurants that are not on Main Street. Not saying that these ones are bad. I'm just saying that I don't rave about them. But sit down. I'm kind of partial to Tony's Town Square. But that has a lot to do with the fact that I'm a big Lady and the Tramp fan, and I'm also a big Italian food fan. So, and I'm not really super particular about whether it's super high quality North Jersey, New York Italian food or Olive Garden Italian food. I just like Italian food. I'm not really prejudiced in that regard at all. So, walk up, it's got to be Casey's Corner.
Yeah.
And actually, I would personally say if I had to pick like one restaurant on all of Main Street, regardless of what kind it is, I would say Casey's Corner. So there you go.
Now, did you know that for a while there, they were doing a monthly different hot dog at Casey's?
I did not know that, but it makes sense because it seems like every time I had been there for a while, it seemed like there was a slight change on their menu.
Yeah, I'm right there with you as far as, because there's only a handful of restaurants in Main Street USA. There's Casey's Corners, there's a Crystal Palace, which used to be a buffet, but now it's I think it's an
Family
all
style.
you care. Yeah, family style.
Yep.
Main Street Bakery, which is also known as Starbucks.
Yeah.
The Plaza Ice Cream Parlor, which I think sells Edie's ice cream.
Yes, it does.
The Plaza Restaurant, and Tony's Town Square Restaurant.
Yeah.
As far as they go, I enjoy Casey's. It's quick. I have not been to Crystal Palace. I've heard good things. I've heard it's gotten much better. And everyone I talk to, now having not gone, I'm like, okay, well. But everyone who says, always says, or the reviews I said it always hear is like, it's just gotten so much better. It's like, oh, okay.
Yeah. I actually haven't been, at least to my recollection, I haven't been to Crystal Palace either. My wife has, but she was 5 years old.
And now that is a character meet and greet. That's where you could see the Winnie the Pooh and Friends.
Yes.
Which, if you're into character meet and greets, that's a pretty good get.
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
And if you're a Winnie the Pooh fan, an even better one. And they just do a good job. And it's supposed to be shaped after the Crystal Palace, I guess, overseas, because originally that was from Britain. So, but yeah, the confectionery, I guess that's another one you could add to that. Though I guess it's more of a shop than a restaurant or a quick service.
Yeah, but
I don't know how you cut that one.
Yeah, the confectionery though, they play. I won't call it a dirty trick because I like it so much. They play a Disney trick on you at the confectionery in that as you're walking by, they are purposefully wafting the sense of the candies and confections of the confectionaries out into the street. So you ever walking by and it's like, oh, that smells good. Yeah, they did that on purpose. I think
they do that with the Main Street Bakery, aka Starbucks, too.
They probably do. Waft the smell of coffee beans and fresh baked whatever's out into the street. Yeah.
Yeah, I love the confectionery. I will always get, I will try to always get, I should say, a crisp rice treat.
Oh yeah, those are.
Try not to use the branded term because.
Yeah. Well, those are one of my go-tos as well.
I will destroy one of those in less than a minute.
Occasionally, we tend to get one of those really big Mickey chocolate chip cookies.
Ooh.
That are chocolate dipped on the ear portion. Yeah.
Ooh.
Yep. Those things are very splittable. They go a long way.
Oh, you share?
Yeah.
Oh.
I've got a sweet tooth, but it's not that sweet.
Oh.
At the end of the day, my weakness will always be ice cream.
Yeah, the Main Street, the Plaza Ice Cream Parlor is good.
Yeah.
As to best ice cream places on property, I don't know that I'd put it in the top 5.
No.
That's me being so snooty, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. It is a little bit. I mean, I mean, I think maybe like Beaches and Cream would probably be top tier, but in terms of ice cream on property. But I will say that it's nice to have that. It's nice to have that venue there at that location because, as I said before, it's late. The park's getting ready to close. You grab a nice ice cream sundae and watch the crowds go by.
Oh yeah, and you can get the Mickey's kitchen sink there, souvenir, if you're into that kind of thing.
Yeah. Now you look at it just occurred to me about Tony's Town Square. One of the reasons you could be partial to Tony's Town Square, if you get a table there in the summer in particular, and it's at that right part of the afternoon where the daily thunderstorm crops up.
Oh yeah.
Get a table by the window.
Now, do they pump the music in from what's the show now called? Wishes? Do you know?
Oh, it's Happily Ever After.
Happily Ever After.
I don't know if they pump it into the restaurant because you couldn't really see it from there. It's kind of off and around the corner. You could probably hear it like through the windows or whatever. I don't know that they play it in the restaurant. But the reason I say get a table next to the window, because when that daily thunderstorm crops up, you get to sit there in a nice, cool, dry place and watch the crowds rush out of the park.
Yeah. You can always tell people who are not from Florida are only on their first vacation because they'll run away when it starts to rain.
Another trade secret for Disney touring is that Magic Kingdom's the best theme park when it rains.
Yeah. And the worst? Epcot.
Yeah, I'd have to go with Epcot. There's just so much open space, and there's no place to find cover.
Yep. And good sections of Hollywood Studios too.
Yeah. Yeah, but a nice thing about Magic Kingdom in general is that when it rains, most of the rides are inside. So
there's a lot of coverings too.
Yep, there's a ton of coverings.
And speaking of going inside when it rains, the place that most people run into is the Emporium.
Oh yeah. Well, it's probably the biggest biggest theme park. It's the biggest souvenir shop, I think, on property other than World of Disney at Disney Springs.
I guess now it's bigger than Mouse Gear.
Yeah.
Because Mouse Gear's gone.
Yeah, well, Mouse Gear used to be Mouse Gears, plural, because it was so big. And now it's just got one gear on it, and it's not nearly as big as it used to be. But that could change because they're doing a whole revamp of Epcot, but we're getting off topic.
Yeah, so when you go in the Emporium, and why I wanted to make that fun segue.
Please stop trying to speak French.
Oh, that's French now. Anyway, why I want to talk about that is the Emporium, you could buy like anything souvenir-wise. They have, literally, you could walk in next to the firehouse and walk out in Casey's Corner. On the one side. And I will say I've bought probably too many mugs in that location.
Yeah. I don't know. They've got apparel. They've got stuffed animals. They've got coffee mugs, dinnerware, sports related stuff, just typical Disney trinkets, you name it, they've got it.
They don't have lightsabers yet though.
Okay, they don't have lightsabers, yeah, but I think they do have, or at least they used to have, some Star Wars merch in there anyway, which I found kind of out of place, but, it's there.
I wonder if they've had a Star Wars themed events yet at Magic Kingdom.
Not that I'm aware of. It seems, again, since you've got Galaxy's Edge over at Hollywood Studios, it seems a little out of place.
Or even, because I know they have Toy Story characters and Pixar things do show up in Magic Kingdom.
Yeah.
But now I'm wondering if anything Marvel shows up either. Because though they're not allowed to have rides, they are allowed to have some stuff. It's the rules are really odd on that.
They are. Yeah.
I've bought a handful of shirts from there. I've gotten a handful of pins. And pins are something I've been increasingly getting into these last few years. Which I hear is a real problem after a while.
Yeah, I can't imagine how much that all costs, but yeah.
I don't think I've even told Justin this. The thing I've been trying to do is I'm trying to buy Marvel pins.
Okay.
So, and not like, just any old things. Like, for instance, as of the time of the recording, the show Loki just dropped.
Okay. Yeah.
And they just dropped last week all of the Loki pins. And I was at Disney Springs 2 weeks ago, and they weren't out yet. And so I just missed the opportunity to pick up the Loki pins, and there's 3 of them right now. I have some pins. I have a pin from WandaVision, which was good.
Yeah.
And then when I went, there were no pins available anymore for the Falcon and the Winter Soldier. Though I
Yeah.
have seen some of the pictures.
Yep. I'm not a pin collector, but the pins I do have are quite exclusive.
Well, you were talking about the Steam Train one. That's you get a pin from that tour.
Yeah, you get a pin for the Steam Trains tour, and they don't have one of those at Disneyland, so don't try to get one there. I got one from the grand opening of Expedition Everest.
Wow.
I got one for Keys to the Kingdom, and most recently, I got one for doing the Savi's workshop at Hollywood Studios in Galaxy's Edge.
Oh, that's really neat.
Yeah.
So that was included with the lightsaber.
Yeah, well, they give you a pin to put on to show, so it shows the cast members. Not only is it a nifty collectible, but it shows the cast members working in Savi's workshop which tray of lightsaber parts to put out in front of you.
Oh.
So if you pick the peace and justice, the protection and defense, power and control, or elemental nature, that determines what pin you'll get, and that determines what tray, the parts they put out in front of you. So you wear that pin, then they don't have to ask you what you've chosen. You're wearing it.
Got it. I picked the dark side stuff.
Yeah, I went with peace and justice.
You know, because they have cookies.
It's always those cookies.
Well,
Yeah.
you know, the Emperor did nothing wrong. You know,
Oh, here we go. No, we're not getting into that again.
you can fight me on that one.
We're not getting into that.
Hey, just saying. One side has really cool stuff. The other side is the rebellion. Just saying. I'd rather be in a TIE fighter than an X-Wing.
Now, how do we get into Star Wars from Main Street? Because the two are completely unrelated.
Well, Mickey Mouse is involved with both of them, I suppose. So,
okay.
But yeah, you can buy. I have seen Darth Vader swag inside the Emporium, though.
Okay.
Now I'm thinking about Star Destroyers, how much more marvelous they are than anything the Rebellion has. Anyway.
No, those Mon Calamari cruisers are pretty spectacular.
Yeah, if you like things that are worse, yeah. All the people who actually care about that are going to be really twerked, I bet. But yeah, there's just so much going on in Main Street USA that it's a story in itself, and it is really just an introduction to what you're about to experience.
Yeah.
Oh boy.
But speaking of introductions, we should start moving towards our closing segment.
All right.
Are you going to be merciful?
There will be no mercy.
All right, so what are you doing then? What are we doing here now?
Tale as old as trivia.
Great. Okay, well, I'll just grit my teeth and bear it, and let's go.
Oh, man. Okay. So, as usual, we got 5 questions here, and each one has a category: animation, film, songs, personalities, and miscellaneous. All right. So, our first question is from Disney Animation. In what country does the animated feature Beauty and the Beast take place?
Beauty and the Beast?
Yes.
France.
Okay. All right. See, that was an easy one. That was the warm up. Now comes the hard stuff.
Oh, the deep end.
Yep. Film. What 1993 Walt Disney Pictures film follows the adventures of the Jamaican Olympic bobsled team?
Oh, I actually I've seen this movie. Cool Runnings.
Yeah. Okay. All right. 2 for 2.
We might have watched it a handful of times in college. Just saying.
Yeah. All right. Song. What famous composer wrote the music for the first sequence in the movie Fantasia?
Oh, jeez. Is this a multiple choice?
No, it is not.
I can see the person from the film in my brain.
Well, he wasn't in the film. He just
Then I have literally zero idea.
come on, think famous composers. I
Well,
mean,
there's
really.
Gershwin. There's trying to think American composers. It's been a long time since I did anything with that. Yeah, that's the only name I can think of right now.
Johann Sebastian Bach.
They use Bach stuff?
Yeah, he composed Toccata and Fugue in D minor. Yep.
Okay.
Yep. And personalities. Which Mouseketeer wanted to change her last name, but Walt Disney persuaded her to keep it?
Oh, so we're obviously not talking about the Britney Spears Mouseketeers then.
No, we're not.
I have no idea. I actually want to know.
I'll give you a hint. It's the most famous one of that era.
Yeah, that ain't getting me anywhere closer. I'm actually legitimately curious. Who was it?
Annette Funicello.
Okay, what has she been in?
Oh gosh, so many things. She did a lot of film work for Disney. She did the Shaggy Dog, and I'm trying to think what else. She was also in the Zorro TV series, and at least like as a guest role. And she was really, after Disney, she got famous for she did Babes in Toyland with Disney. After that, she kind of got famous for doing a lot of beach party movies. So,
okay.
Yep. Anyway, on the television series Home Improvement, what show does Tim Taylor host?
Tool Time.
All right. Okay. So, yeah, you got 3 out of 5. That's not bad.
Yeah, I'm okay, yeah. A lot of these were not the one with the woman. I had no idea.
Yeah, well, anybody who's been following Walt Disney as long as I have, yeah, it's or at least as far back in history as I have. Yeah, Annette Funicello is like, if anybody knows like one single name of the original Mouseketeers, they know that one. So,
wow.
Yep.
All right, well, I think that wraps it up for today.
All right. Well, thank you all for tuning in and joining us on this episode of Mickey's Earbuds. We appreciate it if you would subscribe and hit the like button on this video. And we hope to see you again next time. So see you real soon.
I'll catch you in the parks.